morning traders, Joseph here from Eightcap. Welcome to this week's Trade Zone Asian session update. So starting out this morning, we can see some buying against the US dollar from the risk majors. The pound is trading the firmest at the moment. The dollar CAD is bucking the trend. It is trading higher, and the dollar index is just in the red early, well, not a couple hours into this morning's Asian session. At this stage, the majors are mixed to the yen. We're seeing the Aussie trading as minus 0.14% lower, and we can just see this point here. It's still in an uptrend, but we can just see price, if selling does continue, could we see a test of Friday's low. So there was some pretty decent selling on Friday, and that was across majority of the pairs, but some of them did fare a little bit better than others. So we can see that the euro did pull back into the positive after a very strong decline, and the pound, similar story, but it just finished in the red on Friday. But this morning, after a pretty flat open, we are seeing a little bit of buying at this stage. And gold at this stage in the week is trading higher after a move lower on Friday that saw this short-term support point here beaten. We did discuss that point last week, and it was beaten by sellers, and but we do still see plenty of demand down around that 1980-120 area, and we can see some buying above it at the moment today. US futures at this stage, we are seeing some small declines. There's a fair bit of attention given to earnings. So earnings is coming out this week, which is worth a watch. So we'll see results from Alphabet, Microsoft, Amazon, and Meta. There's some of the high interest names to come out, and I think traders will be keeping an eye on those ones just to see how they're faring, and that will have a big more direct effect on the SPX 500 and on the Nasdaq as well. So it was more of a quieter end to the week. On Friday, you can see that bar here was very quiet, and this morning as well. I'm not seeing heaps of movement at this stage just yet. US 30 is minus 0.9%, as is the SPX 500, and the NDX 100, which is the Nasdaq, is minus 0.1, down minus 0.1%. So we can just see the small selling at the moment. There is a bit of demand down here, but there's a lot of downward pressure at the moment, and we can see that those key resistance areas here. So the SPX and the Nasdaq, they have these key resistance points to beat. The SPX 500 is probably more pronounced out of the three, but also on the NDX 100 we can just see that real heavy level here of resistance, where sellers have been really stopping anything that's been going up there. So it is 10:04, so the ASX has started trade for the week, and we are seeing minus 0.17% on the ASX at this stage. That's just with some pretty light to lower leads coming out of the US. Crypto wise, we'll just touch on oil. So oil did have a bit of a fight back on Friday. We were wondering if we could see the rest of that gap filled. For now, it looks like it's holding on, but the overall short-term trend is down. So we'll continue to see if sellers are able to hold this run that they've got at the moment. If not, we'll look to see if the support base can form, if we do get a double bottom or a higher low, and we'll then look to see if there can be a fight back formed by buyers. So if we do see any type of fight back, resistance could come in around that 81 area, and then again we have more resistance up at 83.24. There's nothing really on the short term just yet, but at the moment there's a little bit of short term support at 77. But again, there's more of just a finish and a close, so it hasn't really been confirmed yet, but it is at this previous point of resistance. So we'll see what happens into today's session, if we can see some direction from buyers, or if we do see sellers continue to try and push. Now, cryptocurrencies had a pretty interesting weekend, and some were rather flat. So we can see Bitcoin here, not too much trade over the weekend. Ethereum Similar story here, but if we do go down to Ripple, I had a look at Ripple over the weekend, so we can see that there was a nice recovery back up after a very strong move lower last week, and we had a bit of a flat day on Sunday where I see a bit of buying today. So Ripple at the moment, it's sort of, we zoom out a bit, sort of stuck in this range, the bottom of the range and the top of the range here. So obviously the market is still waiting for the SEC decision. There is reports that could come possibly in June. So obviously if Ripple, XRP and Ripple Labs, they are successful in the case, we should see, well, everyone's expecting a very strong price to rally, but if we do see possibility of a loss in the case, that could have negative influences as well in the cryptocurrency world. So that's really what it's going to come down to, and some of the other coins as well. So ADA, for instance, not too much movement over the weekend either. We just had these two pretty flat finishes against each other with a rally and a decline. So hopefully we do see a recovery in crypto. We do still really like some of these uptrends that we've been watching, and hopefully we'll start to see buyers come back into the market and just start to put in a bit more short-term support. There is a bit of support here on Canada at 0.3784, and if that can hold, could we see a new rally start to form? And same with Bitcoin. We have these nice rallies, and this still does look like a pullback, but if we do see a rally and then a lower high and then a move back down which breaks that level, that's something different, a bit more of a worry. But for now, we'll continue to see if this on this momentum that has been running through this year and into the end of last year, if that can continue to push on. So other stock indexes at this stage, we're still seeing a couple open. The JPN 225 is down 0.26% at this stage, and like with the SPX, it has key resistance here at 28,669 to beat. You can see a break at that level, then we'll look for a rally to continue, but it does look a little bit messy at the top there now, a little bit of indecision, so we really want to wait for something decisive to sort of give us some key direction. So on to some of the things that are coming up this week. We do have a public holiday here in Australia, but staying with the Aussie, we do have CPI data coming out on Wednesday, and this could be quite interesting for the Aussie. There's been a bit of a shake-up with the RBA, so the CPI data will be quarter-on-quarter, the year-on-year, and the trimmed mean CPI quarter-on-quarter. So they're looking for 1.3% on the quarter, 6.6 on the year, and then the trimmed mean CPI at 1.4. So these are all quite expected to come in lower than the previous data, 1.9, 6.8 at 1.7. So that will be an interesting one to watch. If we do see a move to the upside, what does that mean? But still, even 6.6% inflation, if we do get it, it's still quite high. We still are wondering if the RBA, while they do have the power in their hands, if they are going to continue to put rates up by 0.25%, just while that inflation still continues to remain, sort of well above that 5% point. So other things coming out this week is the US advanced GDP. They're looking for 2%. US unemployment claims, these are both on Thursday, 249k, and into Friday we have the Bank of Japan with the outlook report, the policy statement, and the policy rate is expected to remain the same. So with the new governor in Japan, I think the markets will be looking to see if there's any new directions, and if they do make any more comments on previous bond buying changes that they have done recently as well. So, and to cap off on Friday, we have German prelims CPI and the Bank of Japan press conference as well during Friday. And Saturday we don't have any key news, but to end the week late on Saturday we have Canadian GDP, the core PCE price index out of the US, and the employment cost index quarter on quarter. So I haven't seen that one before on the high impact. So they're looking for 1.1%. and the core PCE price index looking for 0.3%. So some interesting data coming out this week. We also have the Australian CPI as well, and the American advanced GDP to be one to watch as well. So that's it for today's update. We will continue to watch some of the cryptocurrencies, oil, gold, and the stock indices as some of these earnings reports comes out during the week to see if some influence they have on the market, and if we do get some more volatility this week than compared to last week. So thank you very much for your time this morning. I wish you all the best for your trading this week, and thanks again, and all the best. We'll have a day off tomorrow, but from Wednesday we'll be back on, myself will be back on reporting. So all the best with your trading. Thank you, and bye for now.